Okay, looks like we're broadcasting. Hello, everybody. Chuck Holton here with my better half, my lovely bride, Connie. We are in Greece at the moment and are celebrating our 30th wedding anniversary.
Go Team Holton!
She is 30 years and she hasn't killed me yet. So that's a plus. That's a plus. So I wanted to do a quick live and just do some answering viewer questions. One of the viewer questions that I get fairly often, or actually rather Connie gets, is how in the world do you put up with me for 30 years?
Yeah.
What's your secret for not for
I don't know. Okay,
living with Chuck Holton?
I don't know. Literally 10 minutes ago, I was tucked into this yummy hotel bed, sleeping my jet lag nap, and he yells in there, "Get some pants on, you're on the live in 10 minutes." Like, dang it. All right.
So,
I don't know. I think a lot of humor. A lot of humor. No, but I think, well, we both put up with a lot, but I knew from the very beginning that he was the one for me, and I don't know. I think that just overcomes a lot, overcomes a lot.
Well, I hope so.
We're still here, babe.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to see the comments here, and they're not coming up. So
Do you want me to get my phone?
No, I just need to. I can't see around the lights is the problem here.
Oh.
Got to move this light.
So, if you catch me kind of chuckling, our hotel just filled up with, I don't know, 100 Italian teenagers.
At least.
And I don't know if you're familiar with different languages around the world, but I love the Italian language. It is so expressive, and it's just so sweet, and it's just so full of emotion and passion, and I just love it. They're just talking like normal people, and I love to listen to it. So if I crack up, that's what I'm doing. I'm
Mamma mia!
I'm just laughing at the teenagers over here.
So we're actually on our way to Armenia, but we stopped for a couple days in Greece just to kind of off gas a little bit because we've been running for 2 weeks
or longer,
solid.
Longer.
Yeah, I mean, we've been away from home for
since October maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you,
Been running for quite some time, and it's nice to just take some time and not do anything. So a lot of people have asked where we are. This is a place called Attica. No, we're
yeah,
yeah,
on the Riviera
near Attica, which is it's not far from the airport in Athens, and the reason that we came out here is not because it's like the best place in Greece. The reason we came out here is because it is not a place where tourists go, and that's one of my best criteria for traveling is stay away from the tourists. When we, so somebody says, do you ever consider settling down to a regular residence?
And Denise says, do you ever get tired of traveling?
Yeah, we do. And so that's why my idea of a vacation is like a week at home with a power outage so nobody can call me. But this is the next best thing. I mean, we're not going to see the tourist sites. We're not, running around. We're just basically
we're just holding up, catching up with work, sleeping. So one tired mama says, how do you guys raise littles with the line of work that Chuck does? For a long time, Chuck would take the kids with him. Whenever I could. Yeah, whenever he could. With his traveling agent and things like that, he would always ask for 2 tickets. And we homeschooled. And so if an opportunity came up where one of the kids got to go and they rotated through, they traveled with Dad. And it was a great time for them to have some special time with Dad. But really, other than that, if Dad was gone, I was home, thankfully, to hold down the fort. I'm grateful that I never had to work outside the home. I do a lot of things behind the scenes.
She definitely works a lot harder than I do.
But it was always in the home. And so I was able to be there for the kids and I'm a tough cookie.
They call her the Iron Maiden.
Yeah, the kids call me the Iron Maiden, and which I think is the characteristics that God put in me, because Chuck needed a strong woman who could be able to stay home and take care of things so that he could do the things that he's called to do. And because he's doing the things he's called to do. I got to do the things that I was called to do, which was to be home and raise our kids. But now we're traveling together.
Yeah, this is kind of what we always wanted to do. I felt like my job as a husband, in terms of Connie, was not to tell her she needed to stay home or tell her she needed to go to work, but just to give her the a safe place and a canvas upon which to paint the story of her life as God called her to whatever He called her to. And fortunately for me, He called her to care for our children and be there to hold down the fort, like you say. Uh, there were times when money was tight and she did have to pick up some work, but fortunately for us, she didn't have to do it outside the home.
I would take in kids, more kids to watch.
Yeah, she'd watch more kids.
Brace problems. I'm a professional mom.
Yeah.
And so watching kids inside the house, I mean, especially nowadays, is very lucrative. I mean, you can make a lot of money watching other people's children. But
yeah.
Let's see. Carol Flynn asks, how are the monkeys? The monkeys are doing fine. We built them this monkey mansion because we knew we were going to be traveling a lot this year. And so they have a very secure, a very large cage.
Bigger than
Panama.
My first house, I think.
Because we knew that we weren't going to be able to get them out. And so they're very happy. And they have a wonderful caretaker who loves them. He really does. And he's good with them. So the monkeys are doing good.
We have a guy that lives in our house when we're not there. And I should just give him the house and just visit him once in a while.
Thank you, Javier.
I'm just not there very much. But so when people ask where I live, we just kind of say, I don't really know, because we just are traveling so much. Okay, I wanted to get to some of the questions. Are you going to finish packing, or you want to keep answering questions?
Are you giving me the boot?
No, you can stay if you like.
I'm getting the boot, guys. So you guys... Unless you ask another question, I'm out of here.
Oh yeah, I'll bring her back. She can go over there and keep packing.
If you have another question, I'll be back.
What a woman. She's something else. So my son calls me the grill queen. Okay. So I just wanted to go through some of the questions that I've gotten recently, because I don't have a ton of time. We do have to get ready to go to the airport here pretty quick. But I just wanted to answer some of those. I get a lot of questions and a lot of comments from you guys on my email. If you want to send me a question or a comment on my email, then just send it to hotzoneholton@gmail.com, and I'll do my best to reply or something. Do my best. Jules says, how is Cyprus? Cyprus is actually doing really well. He's starting to make movements in his legs, which is an absolute miracle, an answer to prayer. And what was do you want to give a quick update on Cyprus? Because you talked to Michelle today, didn't you?
Yeah, so I talked to my sister today, and she said she was just so excited because in PT she was starting to feel movement in the muscles of his right leg. Now, these are like not gross movements, but micro movements, they call them. And he actually flexed his foot when she was tickling his tummy. And so his right leg is waking up. We call it waking up a little faster than the left leg, but the left leg too is coming along. So, I mean, really, every day we are just hopeful. We know this little boy is going to be walking again, and we keep praying for that. And so I thank you guys for the prayers. I did send her the $550 that you guys donated over the last few podcasts, and she was just blown away by your generosity. And so in total, from the Hot Zone, we have sent her $1,550. And so I thank you for that. I know she appreciates it.
Yeah, that's really great. So keep praying, folks. Keep praying that little Cyprus will regain the use of his legs. Absolute miracle that he's not dead. And we're praying for more miracles here. Nicole, welcome. Thank you to all the supporters of the Hot Zone. If you want to support the Hot Zone and support what we're doing, you can go to chuckholton.com. That takes you to the locals page, and you can subscribe there. You can support us there if you want. You can go to the Linktree link that is in the description of the Hot Zone podcast. So just go to the main page of the Hot Zone podcast, and there's a Linktree description there. So thank you. Anna Chair, will you please say a special hello to my mom, Margaret Trout? Well, hello, Margaret Trout. Thank you so much for praying. We know that prayer is always the most that you can do. Anything else you can do is just gravy. But we really appreciate those prayers. Thank you so much. And Trace, thank you for your donation as well. So, getting to some of the questions here. I got a question from somebody the other day about, well, it's more of a, not a question really. This guy actually was coming up with ideas, is saying, why doesn't Israel use an EMP to shoot down the rockets that are coming in? An EMP is an electromagnetic pulse. And I get this a lot, where people are saying, like, I've got an idea. They need to do this, 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 this. You need to call Netanyahu and tell him. And I'm like, folks, I'm just a journalist. I don't have Netanyahu's phone number, so I can't really call him. But it was an interesting topic on whether or not an EMP could be used to shoot down a rocket. Now, the thing about an electromagnetic pulse is that it fries anything electronic, and frying anything electronic in a moving rocket would probably not be very helpful because, for example, most of the rockets that were fired out of, say, Gaza were homemade and they didn't have any electronics in them. So you're not going to do anything to a rocket that's made, because really, literally, they were cutting down light poles in Gaza and using the light poles as rockets, packing them full of explosives, putting rocket fuel in the back of them and lighting them off and just sending them through there. A lot of those rockets are pretty dumb. And so a larger ballistic missile or something like that would have some electronics in it, but it's not likely that they would, first of all, do much good to shoot an EMP at a rocket like that. Number two, those things are moving so quickly, you still have to have a very sophisticated setup to track the incoming missile. Number three, an electromagnetic pulse is omnidirectional. So it's very difficult to make a unidirectional electromagnetic pulse. So if they set it off, that means that it would fry anything electronic that wasn't hardened or shielded. Many military things are shielded and hardened. But if it wasn't hardened or shielded, then it would fry everything electronic within the same radius as the EMP, which if the rocket is 2,000 feet in the air, that means 2,000 feet all around the site, everything would be fried. Everybody's cell phones, everything. So probably not a great idea. Also, as Cal Fortune points out here in the comments, if it's a military, if it's got a bunch of electronics in it, there's a very good chance those electronics are already shielded against things like that, because they're, they think of that when they build those things. So that's one of the reasons why that's not probably a great idea. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Yeah, everybody say thank you to Nathan for modding today. Nathan's in Armenia and is hopefully going to see us here very shortly, because we're going to the airport here pretty quick, and we'll are hoping to run into him, if you know what I mean. Okay, so let's go through another question out of the mailbag. Somebody asked me the other day, is artificial intelligence evil? Is AI evil? Well, AI is not a, it's, I don't think it can be evil, because I think evil and good are not really applicable to technologies. I mean, you could theoretically say that like TikTok is evil, but that's actually a commentary not on TikTok, but on the people making TikTok and what they're doing what they're doing with it. Obviously, TikTok could be uh, used for good. There are people spreading the gospel on TikTok. So, um, in the same way, artificial intelligence, I don't think in and of itself is evil. Uh, People could make the case that it's going to put so many people out of work that it's going to be the Terminator. It's going to decide humanity needs to go, things like that. But I don't think that AI itself is evil. Here's what I think about artificial intelligence, and I use AI a lot in my work now. Um, Artificial intelligence is a wave, it's a technology that is going to change our lives every bit as much as the internet did. And especially right now, AI is a wave that you're either going to ride or be crushed by, especially if you're in an industry that uses information. So my industry, there are already entire channels of news that are created solely by AI that just go out and aggregate what's going on in the world and write news stories out of it. I know that many news agencies are laying off workers left and right, um, partially because the industry is becoming so saturated because anybody can start a news agency nowadays. I mean, Tucker Carlson has his own news thing, and Glenn Beck has his own news thing. I've got my own news thing. Oscar Blue. I mean, everybody can have their own news, and people like you end up finding and following the people that you like, the people you want to hear from, and the legacy news media is suffering big time. So, in order for them to survive at least a little bit longer, what they're going to have to do is find ways to become vastly more efficient. And that's exactly what artificial intelligence is all about. So, we give you an example. The reason I keep looking over here is there's about 200 Italian kids running around being crazy over here. But in my business, I have to write scripts for the news pieces that I sell to Newsmax and CBN and various other, whatever outlets will pay me. So I write a script about the story that I want to make the piece out of. I send it to the agency, get it approved by them, and then I edit the script together, edit the piece together. So I first research it, research the story, shoot the story, write the script, get the script approved, and then turn the finished product in to the agency. Well, the shooting can take anywhere from a few hours to a few days. Uh, the script writing typically used to take me at least a full day's work to write the script, because what you have to do is you have to transcribe all your interviews, you have to transcribe your stand-ups, you have to then, it's like putting a puzzle together. You have to put all these elements into your story and then write voiceovers to segue between those elements, and so it's like making a puzzle. There's kind of a template to it, but it's a very creative process. It's a thought intensive process to do that. So I'm, having to put all this together. Well, what we did was we put together an artificial intelligence, the large language model, that we fed it like 50 of my previous scripts, explained to it what a script is, what the purpose is, what the template looks like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then all we have to do now is just give it the story that I want to write. So say I want to write a story about the fire that came through Mati, where I'm standing in 2018 and killed 104 people, something like that. So I just type into the AI, I want to make a script about this, and then I upload the transcripts from my interviews. Let's say I interview a couple of people that lived around here. I use an AI to transcribe it. I used to have to pay somebody $35 an hour to transcribe it. And then I use an AI to transcribe it. I upload the transcription, and then the AI just literally writes the scripts in seconds. It's unbelievable how fast it does. And it's not perfect. I have to go through and I have to, um, kind of edit or, rejigger the script. But instead of taking me 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, it now takes like 20 minutes to write a script. And it allows me to be much more productive. It allows me to do a lot more, to create a lot more content than I could before. And so what that means is that I'm out competing other journalists that aren't using that system. And that makes me more valuable. It makes me more profitable. And then what I did is I took that technology and I went to like CBN and Newsmax and I showed it to them and said, you need to get your other people using this. And they immediately got on the bandwagon and very excited about that. So that this is a technology that you're going to either use or you're going to get used by, pretty much. Okay. Any new news on the accident Ben Gavir's transport was involved in? I heard about it. I haven't heard any more news about it. I'm sorry. I would say the less AI you could use, the better. No point in getting used to the devil's tools. See, this is what Michelle, I'm not sure how you can say that AI is the devil's tool. Artificial intelligence is a computer program. It's a very, very smart computer program that can assist you in doing whatever you're doing. So, I mean, you could actually go to ChatGPT right now and say, I'm struggling with thoughts of suicide. Can you give me some scriptures from the English Standard Version of the Bible, the Christian Bible, to help me with that? And it would immediately come up with a list of scriptures out of the Bible. How is that evil? Again, it's all in how it gets used. It's not the technology itself that's evil. It's how people use it for evil or not. And so I don't agree that it's the devil's tools. I think people are using AI in so many ways right now. I mean, just give you an example. I was doing this story about illegal marijuana grows in California, or actually around the country. And I wanted to do a ride along with the sheriff's department in California that had dealt with this issue. Do you know how long it would have taken me to track down all the sheriffs in California, compose a letter to them, send a letter off to them, and ask permission to be able to do a ride along with them? Would have taken me probably a week. But instead, I told ChatGPT to do it. ChatGPT went out and found a list of every sheriff in California, composed a customized letter to each one of them, and sent it off in less than 20 minutes. This is a game changer when it comes to just minutia. See, one of the things about life in 2024 is that we are absolutely covered up by minutia. We have so much stuff being thrown at us. We have so many things we have to do every day, and that minutia keeps us from the things that are really important. It's just stuff that has to be done, but it's not the things that add meaning to our lives. So remembering to get the oil changed in your car, setting up a doctor's appointment, sending off that letter, renewing your driver's license. I mean, just, there's so much minutia we have to deal with. AI is going to help take out a lot of the time and effort that it takes to get a lot of that stuff done. And that's not a bad thing. It people out of business. It's going to put people like transcriptionists are out of business, but it's going to allow them to go do something that's more productive than what they were doing before. Uh, but they may have to retrain. And so I don't, like I say, it's the kind of thing that you're either going to ride the wave or you're going to get crushed by it. That's my opinion. Okay. Let's see here. Are angels real? Well, the Bible says they are. One of my favorite verses ever is Psalm 34, Psalm 34:7, which says, the angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him and rescues them. That God sends angels to encircle people who fear God and to protect them and rescue them out of all their trouble. And I've seen that in action in my life many, many times, many, many times. Okay. So Michelle says, Chuck, I mean in the future. I'm sorry, I don't, I don't know what you're talking about there. I lost whatever you were talking about. Sorry. Uh, does removing a power source, Jerome Smith says, does removing the power source of batteries from devices in cars protect from EMP? No, it does not. An EMP will fry the electronics in anything, whether or not there's a battery in it, unless it's shielded in a Faraday cage. So you could build a cheap Faraday cage by just getting a metal box and wrapping it in tinfoil, wrapping the stuff in it in tinfoil. A lot of times that would do it. A microwave is a good Faraday cage. So if you put something in a microwave, that could shield it from an EMP. The microwave oven, just don't turn it on. I guess I have to caveat that. One tired mama, I'm sorry, I missed what's wrong with your mother, but I will pray for your mom. Sorry about that. Things are going by pretty quick. So somebody asked how far we are from Armenia. It's only a 1 hour time difference. It's a 2.5 hour flight from here to Armenia. This is one of the reasons that we like to stop through Greece on our way to Armenia whenever we come and go, is because there's a direct flight from New York to Armenia. I'm sorry, from New York to Athens on United, which is my airline of choice. And then it's just a quick hop, skip, and a jump on Aegean Airlines, which is a United partner from here to Yerevan. And so if you're coming on one of our trips to Armenia, I highly recommend this one. It may not be the cheapest way to get there, but it's one of the fastest and easiest for sure. What has been the most emotionally, physically taxing story you've ever covered? That's a very good question. Connie, is there any water over there? Look in the fridge. The most emotionally taxing thing that I have ever covered was the 2010 earthquake in Haiti. There were about 250,000 people killed. Thank you, my love. About 250,000 people killed in that earthquake. I showed up 2 days after the earthquake happened, more or less, and about 90% of the buildings in Port-au-Prince were destroyed, collapsed. There were still tons of people that were alive inside those buildings, and there was no way to get them out. There was just no way to get them out. I mean, there was no, there was like no heavy machinery to get to the people that were stuck. And because of that, people would write on the walls, there's 3 people inside, please help, but there was no way to help them, and they just starved to death. They just died of exposure in there. And it was just horrific. There were so many bodies, and because everything collapsed, the only thing where there was space was right in the middle of the streets. And so they were just piling bodies up in the middle of the streets about 4 feet high. And it was horrific. It was just horrific. The heat, you can imagine the heat was just melting uh, the body fat off of the dead people. And look, I've seen a lot of mayhem and a lot of, death and destruction in my career. But usually in a war, it's military age males. You're there, you pay your money, you take your chances, right? You play the game, you might get killed. And so your brain can kind of digest that, can deal with that okay. But this was little kids and old people and beautiful young girls and just everybody was killed. And so that was very difficult. I thought I was handling it okay until I got back to Florida on Dale Earnhardt's jet. Somehow I ended up hitching a ride back to Florida on Dale Earnhardt's jet. And when I got back, I was at a hotel, and my friend sent me this funny video. It was just like a little slapstick reel kind of thing. And I started laughing, and the next thing I knew, I was just sobbing. And, it was just like all of that, emotion and horror coming out. That's been definitely one of the hardest things I've ever done. Syria, the fight against ISIS was very difficult and very, very dangerous. We were getting shot at a lot, and that's one of the most dangerous places I've been, for sure. One of the most difficult wars that I've covered. Okay, do you plan to cover the U.S.-Mexico border situation anytime soon? I can cover that anytime you want. I've been reporting on the immigration crisis for, oh my gosh, since about 2007, maybe even before that. I don't exactly remember, but it was like, I mean, it's the kind of thing I could talk for days about the immigration crisis. And the reason that I haven't talked about it a lot lately is just because A, I've been talking about Israel a lot. B, I feel like there are so many people covering the border now. There's a whole industry of journalists that do nothing but cover the border. Oscar Blue Ramirez does a great job of that. Ben Berquam, the Muckracker guys, Laura Loomer. Oh gosh, I mean, I could just go on and on and on. There's so many journalists that are just covering that nonstop, that I've been just busy doing other things. There's only one of me. There's a lot of conflicts around the globe, and so I'm dealing with other things right now. Do you know whatever happened to the ship and crew that the Houthis captured months ago? Yeah, they still got them. They're still captured. They have not released them yet. And so I guess we need to pray for those people. Did you know the Houthis actually made a music video out of that ship, out of them capturing that ship? It's the weirdest thing ever. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate the dollars. This small donation is just for you and Connie to put towards a nice dinner for your anniversary. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Very kind of you. If I can talk my wife into going out to eat with me, we'll do it. We got time before we have to leave for the airport. So speaking of which, I do need to get going, because if we're going to get something to eat before we go to the airport, we better do it soon. So One Tired Mama, tell me the name of your mother, please. Or tell you what, I don't know if I have. We pray that the family would also have that peace that passes all understanding, and that they would know exactly what needs to be done, how they can be there for her mom at this time. We pray that you be with the doctors that see her and give them wisdom and guide their hands, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys. I wish I could stay on longer. Is this not a gorgeous view or what? I mean, look at that. That, that is spectacular. I went swimming in the Aegean today, and wow, cold, but totally worth it. If you haven't been to Greece, you should definitely come. So God bless you all. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like button and definitely check to see if you are subscribed, because people are getting unsubscribed. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Yeah, people are getting unsubscribed from the channel. Don't know why, but it happens. And so stay tuned, because we'll be on live again tomorrow from Armenia, most likely. And there is a big fight coming up in Rafah in Israel. So the moment we hear that that fight has kicked off, I will be live, and we will have updates as quick as we can get them. So stay tuned. All right. Thank you very much for watching. You guys have a good one. And I'm going to go take my wife to dinner. So we'll see you later.